my gosh. Hi, I'm excited to be here. Hello, I like to just take a look at the whole audience and see what we have going on here. Oh, this is nice. Good looking people. Oh, real cute there. Hands on each other's crotches. That's nice. That's early love, yeah. She even let him wear a tank top out. That's early. Like, I love him that much. Oh, you're adorable. You're adorable. So cute. There's some young people here. That does something for me. You guys, I'm at an age now, I just turned 38, and I don't have any kids, so when I see, I'm sorry, miss, when I see a fetus-looking face like yours, my ovaries start going crazy, sir. He's like, what the fuck is she talking about? I want to breastfeed her, sir. I want milk to go in her mouth from my body. So cute. If you want to latch, you can bring your boyfriend. I got two. This might be the last chance for a barren woman. You too. You're cute. Zygote type. Okay. Oh, so in utero. This is good, you guys. This is good. Working. I'm excited to be here. I am actually married, you guys. I just celebrated 3 years of marriage. We have other married people. These two are like, man. Are you guys married? No, I knew it. Good hands in the crotch and the tank top. Once you're married, you're like, you put on some fucking sleeves. We're going out, Brian. What do you think this is? I just like a special outfit. You guys are so cute. I'm sorry, I don't mean to pick on her. She's like, she's seriously coughing because she gets it. That's so cute. It's the hat and everything. She's like, you look good just the way you are. Then you get married. She's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Brian? I thought you'd clean your shit up. Serious. Is your name Brian? That would be so great. If it was, wouldn't that be so awesome if his name was Brian? You guys are so, how long have you been dating? 2 seconds. Oh, that's so cute. They just met and they're on to oral. It's so fun. Yeah. You're not ready for kids. It's cool. It's cool. Oh, that's nice. And once you get married, you're like, get that away from me. I'm married though. I like it. I don't like to rip on marriage, because a lot of comics, they'll rip on marriage. But I'll be honest with you guys, like, I don't really see the difference between when I was dating my husband to now being married to him, because I cry just as much. Like, all the time. Only now it's better, because now I have someone contractually obligated to watch me cry. It's amazing. Like, he signed a piece of paper, so how stupid is that? I looked it up too, you guys, in case he wants to run. You know, the average divorce is $10,000 to $15,000. Oh my gosh! And we share a bank account, so I know he can't afford it. No way, sir. I walk around our apartment every day like, tears for years. This is what you signed up for, panic attacks and all. Oh, did I forget to take my antidepressant and ruin your day? Sorry. I like to keep it, you know, exciting, sir. He's just like, thank God I'm not with her. He's gonna love you so much more tonight. God. Crazy blonde girl. Oof. You guys are having fun. Don't worry, I'm not gonna say. I know people are like, don't fucking talk to me. She says she's on antidepressants. Clearly things aren't going well for her. I was misdiagnosed as bipolar for 8 years. That's not good. That's not good. No, it's a true story. I should have listened to my mom when I told my Minnesota mom, because I grew up here, you guys. My mom was like, I think you're just hungry, and I was. I was always very hungry. Starving. That makes you hangry and moody, and who knew, you know? But really, I thought I was bipolar. Like, they gave me bipolar meds. I took it for 8 years. I finally got a new psychiatrist who was like, no, you're not bipolar. You've never had a manic episode. Like, that's part of being bipolar, you know? He was like, you just have, you know, anxiety and depression. And he asked me, he was like, aren't you happy? Aren't you happy to know you're not bipolar? And I was like, no, dude, I'm depressed. I'm not happy about anything. And then I thought about it, and I was like, oh my God, like, I felt felt worse finding out I wasn't bipolar, because then I was thinking, like, how shitty is my personality that I was pulling off bipolar for 8 years? Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. And all my friends and family were just like, yes, finally there's a name for it. Oh. And anxiety, you know, which isn't scary, because you tell someone you're bipolar, it's a very stigmatized mental illness, you know, and so people would always be like, oh, are you gonna be okay? But what they really meant was, oh, am I gonna be okay? And I was like, I don't know. We'll see. Don't put sharp objects by me. I don't know. But now I just feel like the basic bitch of mental health. Everyone has depression and anxiety. I lost my superpower. That's what I'm saying, basically. But I do. I like being married. I think because I feel like I'm gonna tell you guys this two-second couple over here, and also my beautiful fetus. I like being married because I feel like my husband and I, like, we're an actual family, we're a team, we're a unit. Like, if we did have a baby, you guys, we might be able to keep it. Which is so exciting. And a lot of people tense up for that joke. I saw you miss. You're just like, not an abortion joke on my watch, no way. But it's not, you guys, it's not. It's not about abortion at all. The baby lives, it just lives with my mom. It's what you call a Minnesota abortion. Some of you people are only here tonight because you had one of those. Like, here you go, Mom, I'm gonna go have some fun. Make some more babies, what? If you don't know, sir, that's how you make a baby. You shake the back of your baby door at a random guy. Drink a bunch of Mick Golden and then you just do this. Or lining poodles. Preferably summer shandy in June, it's just nice. But I'm a Christian, so I don't have a baby. I am glad I could teach you anatomy. I feel like you know, you're like, duh, bitch. I like you. But I'm at an interesting age too, because a lot of my friends are starting to get divorced, which is something. It's happening a lot. And so I get to play that really fun game, like, called it. Oh my God, it's my favorite game. Because I don't know how many times I've been blackout drunk at a wedding, like, this isn't gonna last, why do they have a cash bar? You can't pay for your friends to get drunk, you're not ready for a lifelong commitment. I hate that shit. I shouldn't have to pay. Right, Sam? I love how you're petting her. Is this your kitty? He's like, don't get ideas from this crazy girl on the antidepressants. Do you often pet her? It soothes her? Oh, that's so sweet. And he knows that about you, or he's just a creep? What's happening? You're so cute. I just looked over and you're like... I think it soothes you, sir. It's sweet though. You guys are married? No. It's another 2-second thing. She was talking about oral and just feeling it out. They're gonna make it some babies tonight. Back door, baby door. Oh, you guys are too fun. Oh, you're so cute. I'm sorry, I just like you guys. My husband and I, we actually have this couple that we're like best friends with. We hang out with them all the time, and they told us recently they're getting divorced. And we were really bummed out, you know, because they're like our couple that we hang out with. But they sat us down, and they wanted to talk to us about it, which I thought was kind of weird. We don't need to know anymore. But they sat us down, and they were like, we're getting a divorce because the guy in the relationship cheated on the woman. And then they wanted us to know that we didn't have to worry about picking sides because they were gonna remain friends, you guys. So this woman who got cheated on, I know, was gonna stay friends with her husband who cheated on her. And then we were driving home, sir, and I see her like this. She's like, I don't see a problem with that. So far, so good. It's logical. Okay. My husband was the same way. We were driving home, and he was like, "So, Jolene, if I cheated on you, would we still be friends?" I was like, "No." We'd be a Dateline episode. I'd stab the shit out of you. Stab you in the dick. I just. That looks more like a hand job, which isn't that scary. But you've never had a hand job from me, sir. It's like a seizure of a good time. My poor Mexican husband had to find it out the hard way. Oh. He's uncircumcised. He's like, "You're pulling too hard." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I've only seen the white ones." I didn't know. I mean, it just like keeps going like that balloon of water. I just kept pulling back like I was like searching for something. Like, a secret garden in there. Jeez. It was too fun. Oh my God. It goes forever. He's like, "Ow, sorry." I just feel like there should be a class for that, sir, you know? You might touch an uncut wiener. Here's how not to pull it and hurt him. As I said, yeah. We're friends, right? We're friends, okay. I was like, can't help it. But my husband is Mexican, and my last name is Hernandez. And we have little nicknames for each other, you guys. Like, I call him Salsa, he calls me Ranch. Super sexy. You guys can use that. He'd be a little more salsa. He's super ranch. Super ranch. We're like blue cheese. I like it. Oh. A lady at my work, I work in an office during the day, and after I got married, you guys, she said the weirdest thing to me. She was like, "Jolene, your husband's Mexican?" I'm like, yeah. She's like, "Do you ever get confused because they all look alike?" I was like, "No, racist Pam in accounting, I don't." I always know which one he is. I don't get it. Like, I feel like I hear that about every race of people except for white people, you guys. Gosh, especially like growing up in Minnesota in the Midwest, like it was around like a bunch of super like white Nordic looking dudes like you, sir, you know? I get confused as hell when I look at guys like you. Like I went to UW River Falls for college. I dated a white guy there. We went to Target, got separated, never saw him again. What happened to Bjorgen? I don't know. But I feel now being like a married woman, like I have this pull, I don't know, and every time I come back to Minnesota and visit my friends that are married, it seems like all my girlfriends who are married, they always have, I don't know what it is, if they market this shit to us, but they always have those inspirational signs from Kohl's all over their fucking house. You guys notice that? You walk into any married woman's house, there it is. Like you're sitting on the toilet, right there. Dance like nobody's watching. It's a good one, Janet. It's a good one. You know, like love like you've never been hurt. Get divorced like it's the first time. So ridiculous. I feel the urge, you know, so I want to have my own, and mine would be, happy wife, don't get knifed. That's what I want to see on the shitter. Every time he sits there for 3 hours, I want to look at that. I don't know. I'm still petting, good. That's good. That's how I know I'm doing well. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Can you try me? Let's see what goes on. It's okay. Well, that's nice. That was a little creepy. Do how you do it. Oh yeah, I could see how that's nice. Serial killer. You just fit the profile, Ted Bundy. No. You are so cute. I am so happy I get to talk to you and you're stroking her hair. I've just never done a comedy show where a gentleman has just stroked his lady's hair. I love it though. Oh God. I love it. Either you're gonna have the best night or you're gonna be dead. I don't know. I can't tell if I'm gonna see her on 2020 or we're gonna be featured in the Star Tribune as the best marriage ever. I have no idea what's gonna happen, but good luck to you guys. Let me know if you need help. You guys are so fun. I just love you. I'd stroke her hair too. All her hair, I'd stroke it. My mom's here, you guys, calm down. She is actually here. I love my mom. My mom's so great. I mean, you're here somewhere. She usually screams out, but that sounded like a dad. I don't think I see her back there, but she did smoke for a lot of years. When I married my husband, my parents, they're very white. They've never been out of the country very often. They went to Canada once to fish, and the Bahamas once to make meat, and that's it. And so my mom, she doesn't know Spanish, and my husband's parents are immigrants, immigrated over here when they were teenagers. So my husband's a first-generation American. And my mom was meeting my father-in-law for the first time. My father-in-law is this awesome guy. He's a Spanish professor at ASU. So my mom was a little intimidated by him. And she said, what do I call him? Well, his name is Manuel, but she was having a real hard time pronouncing that, 'cause like I said, real white. Manuel. She just could my mom saw an avocado for the first time a year ago. She had guacamole, fell in love, and every time she comes to visit me in California, she asks for Guatemala. So I don't know. But that's how white this woman is. So my husband's a comedian too, and we had a little fun with her. And we're like, don't worry about it, Mom. You don't have to learn his name. We know it's a very hard Spanish name, Manuel. Actually, culturally, it's very respectful for you to call him Big Papi. She was like, oh no, Joe, what? I was like, no, if you don't do it, you're very racist. It's very, very racist. So when they met, you guys, she went up to him and she said, hola, Big Papi. And he was just like, it was the best thing. And she looked at me and I'm like, you're very racist. She's very racist. So sorry. It's too fun. I had to. Oh, my dad's great. He's not here tonight, so we can make fun of him. It's totally a good time. He is 64 years old. He just retired. He was a truck driver for 40 some years. And you guys, he doesn't know a lot about technology, but in his retirement, he wanted to learn. So he always had one of those flip phones, but he decided he was going to get a smartphone, his first one ever. So he got himself a Samsung Galaxy, but he doesn't know anything about phones at all. So I'm the person he comes to, I'm his personal Google, A couple days after he got his smartphone, you guys, he called me and he sounded terrified. He was just like, yeah, Joe, that phone I got? I might have accidentally Googled Kim Kardashian's butt. I was like, what? You accidentally Googled 3 words you spelled correctly and used an apostrophe? It's quite the accident, Paul. And he was really worried, you guys. He was so scared. He was like, so, can people see what I look up? Like your mom? Can your mom see what I'm looking up? And in that moment, I felt so much power. Oh my God. I was just like, yes, everyone can see everything you look up, you nasty bastard. You're sick. I shamed him. So I feel like I successfully cock-blocked my dad from ever enjoying porn on his phone. Which is every good daughter's job. And again, he's like, fucking bitch. Ruined his life. Nobody wants porn dad, you know. It's bad enough I got Facebook dad. Oh god, my dad's on Facebook. He doesn't know what he's doing. He does not know what he's doing, you guys. Oh my god, the other day, a childhood friend of his passed away, and he wanted to pay tribute to her. So he updated his status in all caps.
Oh no.
And he wrote, "Sue Johnson is dead!" exclamation point. And I called him and I was like, "Dad, you have to take that down. You have to take that down right now." And he's like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because that makes it sound like you're happy Sue Johnson's dead." And it turns out he was. She's a total bitch. So, he is a lot smarter than I give him credit for. I just see him and his friends interact on Facebook, you guys. Oh my gosh. My dad's best friend is John Peterson, because I think when you're a Minnesota dad, your best friend is always John Peterson, right? Maybe John Peterson's best friend is John Peterson. He wrote on my dad's wall for everyone to see. He was like, "Hey Paul, I missed your sausage." To which my dad then replied, "Don't worry John, I've been giving it to you soon." I was like, "No, Dad, that goes down in the DM. Mom's on Facebook." You have so much to learn. He wanted a Gmail account, he wanted email. And I was like, "All right, I'll help you start an account." And I taught him how to check it, you guys, but not how to reply, you know? And, because I don't want him replying to every email he gets, okay? And now, so what I've done is I get bored during the day, and I've started a couple fake Gmail accounts. And I'll just randomly email my dad just to keep the fear alive, you know, just to keep him scared. Like the other day I sent him an email and there was nothing in the subject line, but when he opened up the email it just says, "I know what you did, Paul." XO Kim K. So we're gonna do that nasty shit again. Gross. I live in Los Angeles now, and I like traveling because I like to get out of Los Angeles a lot. You know, everyone there is just like very beautiful and thin and all that stuff. So I mean, it takes a hit on your self-esteem sometimes. And I found a place where I like to go, where I like to book shows, where I get my self-esteem back, you guys. My favorite place to do shows is Laughlin, Nevada. You guys ever been? Do you know what that is, young people? Okay, my daughter doesn't know, I gotta explain it. Okay. Laughlin, Nevada is like Las Vegas for elderly people. My dad likes to call it the place where dreams die. Which is it's not true at all, because it's the place where all my dreams came true. Because it's the only place I've ever traveled to, you guys, where I was the hottest chick there. And I know that sounds like I'm bragging or something, I'm not trying to, but like dudes were rolling up to me offering me old fashions. They were just like, "Joleen, would you like another one?" I was like, "Yes, Harold, yes I would." I actually had to quit drinking. Any sober people here? Sir, you? No? He's like, "I just ordered another beer." I had to quit drinking. I've been sober for 6 years now, because apparently you guys, thank you. That was very nice of you. Because apparently when I get drunk, I like to kick shit and piss my pants. Which isn't fun for anybody. I'll tell you guys, like I was like a good drinker, but like good in like a bad way. Like I drank too much. Like I have just a whole like best of, and one in particular is I lived in Arizona for 6 years, you guys, and I remember I got really drunk one night. I was out at the clubs. You ever been to Scottsdale, Arizona? They have all these like clubs, and you can just have a lot of fun there. And I was super drunk, in and out of blackout. Got back to my apartment, have no idea how I got back. get to the door, and realize I don't have my keys to get in. And I'm like so drunk and in and out of blackout, I'm like, thinking like, what's the logical thing I can do in this situation? Like, should I call somebody? And then my blackout mind kicked in. It was like, no, Joleen, why don't you just kick through your front window? Yeah, you're tough. You're tough. Because I grew up watching a lot of episodes of Cops, and they make it look so easy. You guys are just like, bam, and they're in the house. And I thought that was going to happen. But let me tell you, when you're wearing ballet flats and capri pants, it doesn't go down like that, no. What happens is your leg goes right through the window, and then you pull it out, and there's a huge shard of glass hanging out of the back. And then your pill-popping neighbor Amy has to come wrap your leg in dirty dish towels. Yeah, because when you're doing Zanny bars, you're not doing a lot of laundry. When the paramedics came and they called me Chuck Norris. And we got to the hospital, all the paramedics, they were so great. They each handed me a rock. Because I don't know if you guys remember at the beginning of the story, I lived in Arizona. There's rocks everywhere. I could have easily lobbed one of those through the window rather than my own limb. It took the doctor an hour and a half to get the glass out of my leg, only to tell me he couldn't get it all. And that from time to time I might feel it moving around in there. The best question though he asked me though, he was like, so what do you have for insurance? Exactly, sir. I was like, I'm kicking windows at 3 a.m. on a Monday. I'm the reason people pay a high premium. I don't have insurance. That was like a 5-hour ordeal, and then I finally got back to my apartment the next day, looked in my pocket, there was my key the whole time. I know, that's when I knew I had to stop locking my door when I went out to get drunk. I kept drinking another 5 years until I ruined my friend's wedding. Because why not? I'll leave you guys on this last thing. I love being home. Me and my mom, we have this tradition. Doesn't matter what time of year it is, we always watch our favorite movie, which is a Christmas movie, It's a Wonderful Life. Anybody else love that movie? It's such a good movie. I love it. I love how you raised your hand. Oh, that was so, are you a teacher? That was so cute. Oh. She's like, sorry. That was so cute. Thank you. I love that movie. But as I'm watching it, like I've watched it since I was little because it's a very old movie, and I'm noticing things as I'm older that I didn't notice before about this movie. If you've never seen it, it's a Christmas movie. It stars Jimmy Stewart, Donna Reed, and he plays this character, George Bailey, and he wishes he had never been born. So this angel named Clarence comes down and shows him what the lives of everyone he loved would have been like had he never been around. And all this horrible stuff happens to his loved ones, you know. Clarence the angel is like, okay, George, Mr. Gower, the pharmacist you used to work for, he went to jail for 20 years for poisoning a child because you weren't around to stop him. Your brother Harry, I know it's hilarious, sorry. I like her, he's like, child poison. Very cute. He's like, your brother Harry fell to the ice and drowned. Another funny one, sorry. Yeah. Because you weren't there to save him. Yeah, see? We all memorized this, but then what does he say? He wants to know what happened to his wife, Mary. And Clarence, this is the one that puts Clarence over the edge where he's like, oh no, I can't tell you. No, George, it's real bad, can't tell you. No way, you're not gonna like this, it's horrible. No way. George is like, please tell me what happened to Mary. So finally Clarence breaks down, he's like, all right, fine. She became an old maid, she never married, she's leaving the library right now. And as I watch that as a fully adult woman, I'm like, that's the worst thing that could have happened to Mary? That she's single, has a full-time job, and likes to read? It's worse than your brother dying and kids overdosing? At least she could have had a Minnesota abortion, jeez.